All right. Good morning. Hello. All right. So, getting set up here, and welcome to another fabulous Thursday. I think we're good everywhere else. All right. So, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is May 13th, 2021. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right. So, another tumultuous day in the SPY. We saw a lot of what we've been seeing in the NASDAQ and the tech sector start to really correlate itself to the overall markets. And we finally saw the SPY show some of that correlation in some of the downside momentum yesterday. You can see that the volume has been picking up in these past couple of sessions. The selling is quite serious. And when we see this, we're really just waiting for things to shift. If you're mostly a long trader, then you're not trying to necessarily find the exact moment that this is going to stop, but you're looking for areas where you can consider potential rebounds or just low risk, high reward type setups, or even to get back into the market if you were someone who decided to profit out closer to the highs. And when we look at the SPY, we see that we are starting to get into some trend line areas of interest. We're coming into this notable trend line, which has still not been broken or even tested in the past couple of months. We're sitting right at the 50-day moving average. And as we look horizontally, we see that we are simply getting to the point of where we broke out from. So this previous swing high led to a higher low that led to a gap up and a breakout. Now on the way back down, we obviously would love to see better structure because these gap up and momentum breakouts can leave things like gaps in their wake. But from the purpose of looking behind or looking to the left and seeing where our market's looking to potentially rebound, we're definitely in a spot that is getting more and more interesting as the correlation has been picking up. And as we see the selling volume start to increase, we simply want to see when that balance shifts back in the favor of the bulls. So with the SPY in this position, we look to our 4-hour. We see that, yes, we have lost all of our moving average support. We are definitely in that sort of waterfall selling mode at this time. And even in pre-market, we are making some new lows on the SPY, but those are actually quickly getting bought back up. So far, we are really not in an area of interest, I would say. If we look back in time, we do have this small gap on the 4-hour, and that's going to be facilitated by the larger daily gap where you do not see the pre-market data. But overall, this area is somewhere where we kind of want to keep an eye. If they fill this gap completely, which it looks like they pretty much did, then certainly we would expect some sort of gap rebound structure. They filled the gap to the downside, and they used the gap open, which is the low of the gap, to try and rebound this market. But all in all, the SPY is in that free fall mode, and we want to look for a really strong signal, whether it be through confirmation or just the pattern itself, the candlestick pattern, to kind of identify where we could start to potentially scale in for the rebound if you are not already short at this time. And then looking at our 1-hour, we see, based on volume profile, we can see that gap structure in the volume profile with the lack of previous support. And what we're trying to see is Are they going to simply fill this gap and come all the way back down to the 400 shelf? Or will they try and stage a reversal somewhere closer to the gap open, which is a little bit higher in price? So SPY, I think, is of importance today to definitely watch. And given what we're seeing in the intraday sessions, which I'll talk to briefly, we certainly want to see that same type of reaction in the NASDAQ. Similar daily structure. We have lost the 50 at this point. We actually came to test the 50 from below on Tuesday session. And essentially we were saying, okay, bulls need to prove it to us. If we are going to rebound from this daily candle, the bulls need to hold it, build some structure above, and then break back through the 50. They failed to do so, so the downside momentum continued. We did get accelerated volume, and you can see how that volume's not only increased, but it's also increasing over day sessions. So this is really important to see if we're looking for, in this case, capitulation to occur, where all of our classes are getting flushed to the downside, and then there will be a scale tilt in the opposite direction for typically a very strong bullish bounce. Our daily trend line, we're pretty much right at it. And in fact, in pre-market, I believe we have touched it pretty close to the penny. We also have a lot of previous support in the past. Ultimately, it would have been better structurally to have held the 325 top of resistance into support. We did crack through that, and that led to some more downside momentum. We also have this potential higher low to look at, but ultimately the trend line is kind of what I'm targeting for today. You can see that more clearly on the 4-hour. We can adjust our trend line slightly to match the actual low. And you can see just how well we're coming into this area. We are getting a strong reaction in pre-market. We can see this engulfing structure on the candles. And ultimately, this may be a temporary point of sort of calm. Doesn't necessarily have to react to the upside, but as they build out this range from here, can they start to break higher, maybe start to clear some of these previous lows, which are now acting as resistance, and start to really perpetuate the move to the upside? If not, I would say, you know, this market still is our weakest market. Tech has been hit quite hard. And while we are seeing some great bounces intraday, they simply cannot hold for more than a day at a time. So always keep that in mind from a trading and intraday time frame. Be sure to define your risk appropriately and to have your stops in place. Downside. 30-day 1-hour. Let's look at volume profile. Let's see. We do have this shelf getting formed. I'm actually going to bring it back a little bit further in time just to get more data. It looks as if we are sitting at a previous VPOC. We can see the market did spend a good bit of time consolidating here. You can see that with the choppy price action. That built a lot of value, and we're technically back at value based on the past 90 days of price action. So let's actually take a slightly higher frame look, and yeah, we can see even with 180 days worth of data, we are sitting pretty close to where value is the most concentrated on the Qs. So amidst this correction, this market is simply bringing price back to one of the largest areas of value that we've seen in the past 180 days. So that's actually really good to see. The market could spend some time here sort of consolidating and, you know, addressing the fact that we did lose a lot of momentum and steam. And then we could see something similar to what we saw here, maybe a less intense breakout based on the structure. And we could probably target some of these upper resistance zones. Obviously, if we're losing this trend line, the momentum is still to the downside, and we do have this VA low range around 308. So that will be worth watching in the next couple of days. And then finally, IWM, really starting to see the selling take place here in IWM as well. Any semblance of short-term support has been lost, and the daily structure really does not look great. I would say the only thing that we're kind of looking at now is similar to the other markets. We do have a trend line. Take away the stuff that's no longer relevant. And just like the other markets, it looks as if this trend line is relatively strong on the reactions. So we do want to mark it. It also kind of extends itself somewhat back here. But for the purpose of this, this analysis, I would say the previous reaction did not lead to a new high. It also did not lead to any sort of momentum grabs in between. There was a lot of false breakouts, and then obviously the fade back to this low. So definitely want to keep a cautious viewpoint on the IWM, as we've really lost a lot of daily, and even throughout the selling, we really haven't seen good reactions on some of the bounces so far. As we pull it to the weekly, you can even see that we are threatening the loss of the 20 weekly period weekly moving average. This is a breakthrough. We have not lost it yet, but ultimately this is the first time we've closed below, assuming that this candle does close below, given that the week is not over. So definitely a threatening posture in the IWM. We could see that on the 4 hour, which we already looked at. And then on the 1 hour, we look at our volume profile, and we'll actually pull, similar to the other markets, a lot more data to see that we are losing VPOC, which has been at 220 to 221. That downside momentum can last for quite a while, as a loss of VPOC is technically the beginning of some sort of trend in the direction of the movement. So 213.47 VA low. Markets would like to hold this based on that trend line, and then from there things can get really quite aggressive to the downside, as a lot of our support structures are much further down. I would say we're even at risk of losing the 200 and getting back to this shelf here, given the pocket. So markets are essentially trying to prove it to us at this point. If they want to rebound, we do need to start seeing signs of that in the next couple of days. We do have some additional warning signals, things like the dollar. We were starting to break through this trend line. They came back to run a test from below, and that test failed, which led us back into the trend line. So the dollar did have a sharp increase yesterday. We also saw things like the TNX. I'll just put on our moving averages for now. One of our strongest days in the rise of yields. This is the 10-year Treasury Index. So sharp increase there. And we were starting to see some signs of that already in the TLT, breaking down from this area that was trying to act as a bottoming support structure. We're starting to come back into it, and we're starting to do it on increased volume. So this is really starting to collapse from this point. The increase in the dollar was not a great sign for the metal bulls. We did see pretty sharp pullback, but ultimately we are stair-stepping at this point, and we are looking at our next area of support to hold. As we did break this range, we did essentially form the top of the new range, and now we're coming back down to test it. So the stair-stepping trend is still in play. We have not gotten out of this channel, which is why I was essentially giving some indication that if you're short-term trading the metals, nothing wrong with taking a little bit of profit at an area that has rejected in the past. But if you're more long-term, you're certainly waiting to see if this trend can actually perpetuate the move out of the channel. Same idea with silver, ultimately putting in the top of the range, and we're getting the subsequent test of the previous resistance, which is now acting as an area of support. You can see this double top here. We've come back to that, and we're trying to test it. Obviously, we'd like to see the dollar reverse course again, back to the downside, but until then, we will keep this on watch. Crude as well, still channeling, still fairly strong, but seeing some of that correlated downside. Would love to see the breakout of this downtrend. We've tested it twice after setting a relative high, and this smaller channel structure, we're looking to find some support here and try to curl our way out. Obviously, a loss of this channel would threaten us coming back down into this lower range support. And from here, we're definitely keeping an eye on the larger time frame. We're looking at structure here relative to the past. We could see that crude spent a lot of time consolidating in this range before the COVID lows. So this area is going to take some effort to get out of, but we do have some good upside if we can, all the way back up to about 76 to 77 a barrel. Obviously, technicals notwithstanding of some of the economic challenges of that. And same thing with natural gas, holding in this upper zone, looking for a much larger monthly downtrend breakout, but so far just consolidating, not really seeing any directional bias. So one of the reasons I bring crude and natural gas up is we had an interesting intraday session yesterday. I think the best way to look at that would be, just go to Market Watch. I'm gonna pull up the SPY. So obviously, pretty negative day yesterday. We saw some pretty hard selling in tech, consumer discretionaries. Even things like communication services saw a brunt of the hit. Near the end of the day, they did get a bit of a rally. I would say things like Facebook had a nice return back to some of the highs. But what was standing out most of yesterday was energy. And if you look at the energy charts, you can see that intraday, I'll just do a 5-day, 5-minute, even though the SPY was going down most of the day, energy had a pretty strong morning session. A lot of us were trading energy in the chat room and doing quite well against a market that was selling. Every time the SPY saw a bounce, energy climbed its way higher. So what's interesting about this is the selling did not stop. A lot of other sectors continue to hit their lows at the same time. And near midday, energy also found correlation with the market. It topped out. Basically, the upside could no longer continue, and then it collapsed upon itself on the intraday session, which led to our daily candle, which is sort of that rejection of this higher range. You can see how we pulled back, tried to expand again, and then rejected. So what's important about this? The markets are intraday trying to correlate. What that means is all of our sectors, all of our major names are heading in one direction at the same time. And this was most clear during the afternoon session of yesterday. With this correlation, we're essentially looking at a market that is trying to hedge off a lot of its risk. So the correlation comes from the market selling baskets of stocks. It's not one sector. It's not multiple sectors that are maybe correlated to some risk factor out in the news or that we've been hearing throughout the past couple of weeks. When you get a correlated market, everything is selling at the same time in roughly the same way. And this is due to things like SPY futures, which contain or which correlate or which basically hold the entire basket of the S&P 500. If you sell those futures and those futures start to go down, a lot of the stocks will correlate to that and sell in the same direction or be bought in the same direction. Correlation can occur in either way. So what's interesting about this is if this market is to capitulate, we usually like to see correlation come first. The idea is that no longer are we seeing sector rotation day in and day out. One sector holds, another sector is really strong, another sector may be weak or just nominal. Correlation is everything in one direction, same time. We allow for that to hit a critical point. And as traders or even as investors, if you're looking for potentially good entry points, you find those capitulation moments and you look for the end of the capitulation when everything has stopped selling at the same time and the scales once again shift in the opposite direction. Like most things, this does not have to happen. But in order for capitulation to happen, you usually want to see correlation occur first. It's one of the key items that leads to it, because pretty much all market participants are saying, well, this pain, this downside struggle is going to continue. I don't have any more, bullets in the chamber. I can't survive the downside any further. It feels like the maximum fear. And that is often, once again, when those scales do shift and you get the reversal. Doesn't have to necessarily bring you back to where you came from, but it's usually a very strong reaction in the market. It tends to have a lot of follow through, which is something we haven't seen yet. We've seen days where we get a bounce, but those bounces are easily sold into. We saw that in the tech sector on Tuesday. Everybody was thinking that was potentially a low, and then we easily broke that low and continued lower. And that's because, in my personal opinion, capitulation hasn't really hit yet. We're getting there, and today could easily be the day, maybe end of week, but so far, no luck. Some other things to keep in mind. I'm going to go to the Analyze tab on Thinkorswim, and I've got this Think Back set. What this does, it shows, excuse me, it shows the option series data back in time. What I've done is I've set it to May 9th, which is the weekend, right before this week. You can see on the SPY that at the beginning of this week, which was the Friday series before the week started, which is the 14th of May, we were sitting at about a 6 1/4 expected move. And we've talked about expected move. Option market is trying to price in what they expect the market to move in that particular time frame. Option pricing is based heavily on expected move. And with volatility expansion, you get an increase in your expected move, assuming that the time and every other factor is the same. So high IV, high volatility increases, larger expected moves. You expect the market to just move bigger. It's not tight. It's not choppy. It's wide, and we've seen that so far. What's interesting is that let's go to yesterday. Let's think back to yesterday, and let's look at that same exact series, the 14th of May. Now we have already gone through 3 days of, to some people, a lot of challenge in the sell-off. And the market is saying, not only is this volatility increasing, but now we only have 2 additional days to move, and we still expect an 8.2-ish dollar expected move. The volatility has increased that much. So earlier in this week, we were just saying volatility is likely to expand. We don't know how far it's going to go, and volatility does not mean necessarily to the downside. But if we are going to start moving this market, this volatility is going to be something to keep an eye on. You don't want to step in too early because the volatility is so wide that you will actually get stopped out quicker than expected. You want to allow maybe some of this to settle and hopefully to find that capitulation moment in the market. So something to keep in mind, that the volatility has expanded immensely in the SPY. And you can see that in multiple ways. You can see that with options. You can see that with the VIX. The VIX has exploded in the past couple of sessions. You can look at trading vehicles, things like VXX, UVXY. All of these have increased as trading vehicles. Some of our intraday traders have been using this as hedges. You can also see this with the NASDAQ volatility, which is the vol Q. We don't really look at this one as heavily, but the NASDAQ volatility is what's driving a lot of this downside. And I don't know about you, but that's a pretty large increase across the board. And we can see historically, you know, this isn't significant in the terms of where we came from, but it is elevated based on some of the recent price action. So volatility remains elevated. And while we do see a little bit of a downside shift this morning, we're seeing that volatility start to come off. Stay on guard at this point. The market is telling you that even though we've moved, you know, 6, 7, 8 points, we've expanded, now we've moved 15, 20 points in the SPY, we still have volatility that's saying this market can move another $8 to $10 in either direction. So whatever that means and whatever direction they choose it to mean, keep your wits about you and trade with the right amount of risk tolerance to allow for that volatility to not get you out, and also to allow for your profit potential to be expanded. You don't have to take as tight of entries when volatility is expanded. Excuse me, I've got a little frog in my throat. You basically don't have to take as tight of entries and allow for a little bit more downside stoppage because the volatility is elevated. You can get larger moves in both directions. So that's a key idea. It's something to note if you're an intraday trader or a swing trader. What type of market are you in? If you're in a low vol market, you can find smaller movements and get tighter risk definition, still get your 2, 3, 4 time profit based on your trade tolerance. And if you're an option trader, you're looking at this volatility and saying, this might be an opportunity. It's expanded a lot, but if we capitulate and things start to settle, that volatility is likely to contract back once again. So if you're an option premium seller, you might be saying this might be the time to get some slightly higher risk but higher reward spreads, or just start to sell some of this elevated premium and start to collect as the market contracts itself once again. So some things to keep in mind. These are always lessons to learn, and the more information you can throw into your trade criteria, usually the better you'll be as a trader. So with that said, I'm Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Definitely look at those trend lines today. I'm keeping them on watch just to see how they sort of react with the overall market. Trend lines are a little harder because they're not exact price levels. They're just sort of general areas of interest. But we are coming into some support zones in the SPY. Obviously, would like to see that gap get fully filled. We'll look at that in pre-market a little bit further in the chat room and just see if there's an opportunity for us to maybe catch one additional bounce on the right signals and the right sort of capitulation criteria. But besides that, and I can't speak today. Y'all have a great Thursday. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Trade safe. Take it easy.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Good morning, buddy. I'm doing all right. Apologize. I just sat down, so I'm a little bit behind. There were no teachers at my kid's school for 22 minutes after they were supposed to open.
Wow, insane. Yeah, man, no worries at all, guys. Today we're doing things a little bit different because I also have an appointment with my daughter this morning at 10.
think
So we'll be ending. Go
Yeah, we'll
ahead.
be fast. I think our
Yeah.
screen is frozen, brother.
In our chat room or
Yep,
YouTube chat. All right, let me check here.
chat.
All right, we'll refresh the chat room. Let me not mess around with this. We'll refresh it and we'll let that come back on YouTube. You guys should be fine. That's always very stable. Let's make sure this is up and running here. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and do sharing of the webcam. All right, hopefully you guys on the channel can hear us and see us as well. Just give me a confirmation that that looks good. Perfect. All right, excellent. All right, guys, let's get right to it. We're going to skip the stuff from yesterday. There's a lot in our gappers list this morning, so let's jump right into that. Let's see what's going on here with our gappers list. I'm going to remove our watch list from yesterday. It was a great day. It was a lot of movement as we have been seeing over the last, this whole week, really. This whole week has been pretty fun. So again, just a lot of excitement all over the place here. Let's take a look at what's gapping down up this morning. There's quite a few on here. We got a couple of low flow stocks, and then we have some other ones we haven't seen in quite some time in here. And then we have our regular stuff on here, guys. We have OCGN, AMC, XPEP, ARRY, Futu, Billy. I mean, just again, guys, we're seeing the same faces over and over, just kind of moving with whatever the market is doing. So we're looking at the SPY, paying attention to what Jared is saying every morning. It's very important. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for him for an amazing job that he does every single morning at 8 a.m. Let's get started with what's capping up here. PALY, this one is up 26%, 3.6 million shares traded. So definitely in play, guys. Could be a low flow of
It
the
is.
day today. It's
Yep.
looking very good. Do they have a catalyst too?
Yeah, they had some drug info. It's a biotech with some drug info, low float. So moving this morning, we'll have an eye on it.
All right, perfect. That looks good, guys. Pally on deck this morning. Definitely great volume, great pop. HRTX, this one is up 14.4 with a very high short flow in short interest as well, 28.48. So you see that mark on red here on Trade Ideas. So that's maybe could be some people getting squeezed at the moment. Now, I believe we've seen this one before. It is not a great intraday trading stock. It can be very, very choppy, very light on volume. But this morning already, they have traded 1.9, which is usually what they trade for their entire day, even on good moves like this one here, going from 19 all the way up to 20. So this could be interesting today. Not sure if there's any news on
They had
this one.
FDA approval on a pain med.
All right, so that could be interesting for them, guys. Great catalyst there. That type of catalyst can get things going. We're going to add as a possible, and the reason for that is because their history is not great as far as intraday trading and the way they move. So we'll put that on here this morning. Oh, sorry, guys. I forgot to switch over. My mistake. There we go. Now you guys can see both screens. It's a little bit better there. Thank you for that. All right, so next we have IHT, another low flow, 2.9 million shares traded. This one here this morning. I'm sorry? Yeah, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. So we'll skip, save some time there. SONO, this one, Sono, we've seen in the past. Today they're gapping up 13%, 118. Guys, pre-market action's not looking good on this one at all. If you can see here, it's just not great. We're going to skip on that one. I think today we can find something a lot better.
Great earnings last night. Great speakers, terrible stock to trade.
Yeah. Let's skip on that. OCGN, I'm going to add. We know this one has been great. Beautiful daily. Great activity, up 6.6. XPEV could be interesting as well alongside NEO and the rest of the cast here in that area. NEO is, I like NEO this morning. That looks good. NEO looks good. Let's check out Tesla today. Both of these look very good. I'm going to add NEO here. We'll put Tesla as another possible. That's actually looking pretty decent today as well. Definitely in play this morning. AMC is on here. They are up 5.4, not a great pre-market action. Again, I just don't like the way this thing trades. Even on great days, it's just something about it. So I'd rather not have it on my list. If you do like that one, put it on there. XPEV, we looked at. Again, they're up, but I think NEO and Tesla look way better this morning. They got a better, cleaner pre-market action and a slightly more volume as well. And let's do two more here. ARRY this morning, again, huge gap down yesterday and sell-off. So this was nice, hitting all these levels we had here, guys, in our pre-market. This morning, they're looking a little scrappy right now, just a little choppy at the moment. Up 4.6, 447,000 shares traded, but again, just not looking that good today. Maybe a good possible if we can continue to get a bounce here as we are getting this morning, or we're going to continue to slam back down towards some of these lows. So ARRY, we'll throw that on there. Futu today is up 4.1 after a red day yesterday, but again, we won't give it too much credit for that red day. They don't trade all that well. We're going to stop here, but I did want to get to Plug. Plug is one that we've been watching closely. We'll keep an eye on that one. That one has been fun to trade, up 2.7, 218 so far this morning. Let's see what's gapping down. Chris is here, down 14% after a huge day yesterday, going from 950-ish all the way up to 17. So just a massive pop on Chris. Oh, but that's not pretty though. That is not pretty at all. Looking at yesterday's action, look at this. A couple of holds in here and then just garbage for the rest of the day. So I don't expect this to trade very well. You do have shares for sure. Just be cautious if you're going to be thinking about, shorting this back towards some of their regular trading range. Just be very, very careful with the way this thing trades. It could get halted again this morning, depending on how it moves. Wish as well is on here. They are down 13.3. 396,000 shares traded right now. Pre-market action, wishing it looked a little bit better. I do like the daily though. The daily's got a nice little drop here, beautiful downtrend. Maybe a possible. We'll see.
Earnings last night.
They did. All right, so that could be a good catalyst. Let's see what happens here.
I've got no shares for short on Wish, and it's not looking strong, so that's concerning.
Oh, yeah, you did not. You said the magic word. No shares for short. I mean, I don't want to be long this thing. We might get a kind of rising devil type play here where it pops up and then shoots back down. So yeah, that's not looking great. That's going to drop off of there. Here's Mara, and again, all the Bitcoin stuff is down, guys. You can see what's going on with our buddy Elon there, just causing havoc. ALHDX is on here as well, down 8%. Horrible pre-market action, horrible daily. Had a big day yesterday as far as volume, 87 million shares traded. I probably won't trust it today to do too much. I'm not sure about that one. But Bitcoin, going back to that, Mara is looking very good right now. They're popping up, popping up out of the pre-market lows, but they're down 8.1, 1.8 million shares traded. This is definitely in play, guys. Bitcoin's in play
Yeah,
today.
these Bitcoins are in play after Elon tweeted that Tesla wasn't going to take Bitcoin as payment because of ecological concerns. So
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
10%
Gun
drop
hole
on that.
last week and
Jeez.
now hey, we're not
Yeah.
taking this stuff. Go short, my friends. So it's just madness. But here it is. Riot and Mara both in play. You could definitely watch these today. They both got amazing volume. You have CAN also here, but this tends to be the one that trades the weakest. So I will stay away from that one. Mara and Riot are doing a great job, and they both have shares for short today. Mara on short selling restriction, I mean, taking a huge hit. 656 just beginning of April, now down to 21. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Here's eyes. We know this one could be very explosive this morning, down 3.1, 425. I don't like eyes when it's dropping down. I like it more when it's gapping up. And not too much. And the pre-market action is looking good like it was yesterday. Today, I'm a little concerned. See, you got a good pre-market action here. Didn't run as expected until it found this bottom. But again, today, I'm not a big fan of it this morning, the way it's dropping down and the pre-market action right now. We'll look at BABA last. And then we'll take a look at what you guys like this morning. BABA's in play, guys. BABA's definitely in place. They have earnings. They got a lot of movement
Yeah, they
this
had
morning.
earnings this morning.
That makes sense because they don't move like this in the morning. We watch the stock quite a bit, guys. They're in play. I'm putting it as a possible only because I don't like the way this stock trades for me personally. But I know John, Mike, and others really like the way that one moves, so they'll probably be watching it today. With that said, Norm, anything you like on your end? I know you're running a little bit behind, just sitting down, but anything that looks interesting?
Apple's going to be good to trade today, I think.
Mhm.
So that's the sole one I'll throw out just on this rebound after NASDAQ's gotten squashed recently.
I agree, guys. Look at the volume right here, 1.4, up slightly, almost 1% at the moment. But again, they were in the red, and now it's just breaking out of that, looking really good on Apple on this push up here we got going on. All right, let's start here with Andrea Cass.
Can't take many, so be very very selective in what you throw out there. Make sure that's volume, make sure it's gapping and moving well. As Carlos said, we've got to do this show and finish it by 9. So throw them out there, and we'll get to a few of them real quick.
Absolutely. Thank you, Norm, for that. Andrea Cass giving us X this morning. X is good, guys. Again, X been trading very, very well. I like the way X trades. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. So we'll put that one on there. SQ is wow, SQ is looking good pre-market though. That is looking good. You know, I normally won't put
not a ton of volume, but it's a good looking chart.
Yeah, their pre-market rarely looks like this, guys. This is very good today. SQ is definitely in play. We have here PLTR. Let's see. PLTR, I won't give it too much credit because their pre-market action is always neat. But you know what? PLTR, with the way this market has been moving up and down and just kind of pushing things around, PLTR has had some pretty nice move. We saw that 2 days ago. I didn't see it yesterday, so I'm not sure how it went. But it might be a good one as a possible right now. And DM, you know what? This one, guys, there's so much great stuff today. I will stay away from this one, me personally. Again, you could do whatever you want, but there's so many great stuff. Apple, Mara, Plug, Neo. SQ is looking great. You know, this one could be a little bit tough to be on the main watch list for today. XBEV, we looked at. I like Neo and Tesla a little better than XBEV this morning, but you cannot go wrong with this one as well. Again, they're all those three, Neo, Tesla, and XBEV are really looking good. But out of those two, I think XBEV, it looks a little bit better. Why we like X? So X, guys, look at the movement. Very similar to what Apple is doing here, right? Up almost 0.5%, 360. But if you look at this is what I like about X. If you look at yesterday's trading, the day before that, guys, it's been trading very clean in the intraday. And we called this out, or Jared and Brian called this out a couple of weeks ago. And X is back in play. It really, really is. All right, heading on down, what else do we have? The Qs. Yeah, we can watch the Qs and the SPY, of course. That stuff is going to be in play for sure. The overall market you need to keep an eye on, because when the SPY is doing what it does, or the Qs, it can drag some of these stocks up or down, no matter, regardless of what they have going on in their independent situation. So definitely eyes on the market overall, see what's happening there. SKLZ, again, this one is okay, but when I look at the stuff we have here, guys, OCGN, Neo, Plug, Mara, Apple, and X, these are looking very good. It's going to be hard to beat that there. All right, over on Twitter, I'm YouTube gonna take just two, CCL and AMC. Well, AMC I don't really like, guys, so AMC we kind of looked at, but CCL I see that on both chats, so we'll take that one. CCL looks okay, guys. I don't think it's really in play. The volume is too light. We'll take one more. MP, MP. Looking at this one here. No, guys, something like this with today's action, this is not not in play, not at all. So, guys, let's go over to our announcements real quick. We'll come back and fine tune this list.
All right, guys, real short here. We're not going to go on events. We'll discuss that tomorrow morning. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade. Obviously, it should have entries and exits. And then put any commentary you can describing the strategy in the trade. Post it on Twitter. Tag at Bearable Traders, at MikeP_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use the hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading Stock Market. We'll pick a winner for each day that'll be announced on Twitter. Then the team will vote for all the trades of the day from that week and announce the trade of the week on Monday. If you want to take advantage of the discount on the trial membership, use the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll get you a discount off the intro, which is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days, does not auto renew or turn into any other kind of membership. You then have to choose a membership, actively go do that. It also gives you access to the live onboarding classes every Monday night that start at 8 p.m. Eastern. Also, if you want to become an elite member and get access to all the nightly webinar content other than that, the onboarding stuff on Mondays, use the promo code Memorial40. That'll get you 40% off the annual elite membership.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Norm, for that. Guys, jump right into it. I think we have an amazing list. Jarvis said it best. There's a lot that you can watch today, a lot that looks good. So you got to be picky, right? I like this list here. Let's start with some levels on these 7, and then we got an amazing possibles list. And you also have a low flow of the day down here, up 24% at the moment. Starting with OCGN, guys, this one has been trading really good, has been very nice. Their daily doesn't give it a lot of credit compared to what we have seen. A couple of levels already on here from the days we've been watching this. 862, which is basically your low, your previous day close right on there. That is good. 665 is pretty nice on there. Great level of support. You're getting that right across the board right on there. And you also have 525, great area here. They've got a little bit of a bounce. After that, we've been getting some good, decent volume on OCGN. So you see the movement on the daily looking really nice. Above the price action, guys, the 925, that's actually the low from 2 days ago, right on there. Above that, you do have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. You do not need to add anything more on there. If you do want to add something, maybe up here, a level of possible resistance right across the board, right on here. A couple of days opening, actually closing and bouncing off of that 1185. But outside from that, you got a great levels from the last 2 trading days. Good consolidation, great area support for a possible bounce. Pre-market action is looking good. 981 up 7.5. I think this is one to definitely continue to keep an eye on going forward. Here's NIO, guys. NIO looks great. XPEX looks great, and Tesla looks great too. Out of the 3, I think NIO is looking rather nice this morning. Let's remove some of these levels. Right now, the price action is being hugged by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days and the previous day close towards the bottom. High of the pre-market at the moment, 34.34. So we'll throw a level right on there. Above that, 35, and you also have some 35.45 as far as the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. So I don't think you really need to add anything more on this, guys. Great pre-market action, up 2%, 1 million shares traded. This is exactly what we are looking for on this watch list. Here is Plug, very similar action. Was in the red, now in the green as it's making its way up there. 21.53 low. Oh wait, hold on. Let's remove some of these levels here. There we go. Low of the pre-market, 21.50 towards the top. Pre-market high right now being tested at 23, so we'll throw a level there as well. That's going to be a good level to keep also. If you look to the left, you got a couple of days opening and closing right around that area. So still keep that level there regardless of the pre-market high. After that, the highs of the last 2 trading days, guys, right on here, creating a massive area of resistance for Plug over the last 7 days or so, right? So it'll be interesting to see if the market is going to be strong, if Plug is going to be able to break out of that. Got a couple more levels towards the top here, but again, the key one is going to be, can it break out of this, what is this, 2365 or so. Next, we have Mara, guys. Bitcoin obviously in play with all the madness. Our boy Elon Musk there creating some ruckus. 18.17.75 low of the pre-market. High of the pre-market, 21.84. Beautiful pre-market action, guys. When we talk about a beautiful pre-market action, this is what we're looking for. You're seeing that today on a lot of stocks like Mara, like Apple, SQ this morning as well. Just amazing action out of these stocks today. Above the pre-market high, you do have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, previous day close. Slightly above that, you do have 27.78. And I think that's all you need. I am going to mark something below 1877 because the way this thing is moving, who knows what Elon Musk can tweet out in the next couple of minutes or later in the day. 1652, let's mark that there. And also down here, guys, another really good one at 1405. Look at this area of resistance. Beautiful breakout, then a new level of support right on there in that 1675, and then another breakout one more time. So again, Mara, Bitcoin in play. Riot is also down here looking very good. You can add either one. They both have shares for sure. The only difference is Mara is on short selling restrictions, so be cautious with that. Here's Apple, guys. Amazing volume, 1.5. Another beautiful, great pre-market action. As you can see here, this is moving very well. As far as levels, let's remove what we have now. High of the pre-market right now, we're struggling the last 15 minutes, 123.90. We'll throw a level there. Above that, you do have the highs from yesterday and 2 days ago as well. So this is all around the price action, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Your pre-market low, lower than the last 2 trading days low. So I am going to put a level there at 121.67. And we'll see. I don't think this thing is going to come back down today. I think things are looking to kind of get a little bit of relief towards the downside. It has been beating up pretty good the last couple of days. Might be finding great support around this area here where we consolidated. So we'll see what the market has to say about that, and if that's going to continue to support there. Another level towards the bottom, just in case, 119.07. So pretty good stuff there. Here is X again, guys. X been trading very well. You can see that in their daily. Their daily activity has been a lot cleaner than it has been in the past. So I do like the way that's looking there. Low of the pre-market at the moment, guys, 25.18. Below this, we got a couple of levels here. I like this one here. If you draw a line across that, you can see the area of support and resistance over at around 23.55. Above that, 25.18. Towards the bottom, even further, just in case we do decide to take a nice dive here, 21.52. Again, I don't think we'll get there today. That's a big drop. And you got a lot of key levels to go to be able to hit that price target there. Towards the top, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. A couple of days you can mark down here. This is a minor area of support and resistance. It's not that strong because you don't have a lot of touches. 27.28 right on there. Just 2 days really using that as support and resistance. I'm excited about SQ today, guys. This is looking very nice, beautiful. Again, another beautiful pre-market action out of SQ, which normally you do not get. It's right on SSR as well. Oh, I did not notice that. SQ looking very good, guys. High of the pre-market, 209.21. So we'll throw a level there. Towards the top, highs and lows from the last 2, the highs from the last 2 trading days. And it's a good level right on here. So you got 3 days using this as support and resistance. You got support here, and then you have resistance right around this area for 216.41 this morning. Towards the bottom, low of the pre-market. Here we go. Low of the pre-market down at 198.98. So we'll mark that down there. But right now, looking pretty strong to go up towards the northeast here on the charts. And if we go to the left, let's go to the left here. There's a couple of days you want to mark down. I know they're above the low of the pre-market, but look at the support you have here at 202. So we'll throw a level there as well. Towards the bottom, you do have 191.64. Now, just a couple of levels in case things do decide to change later today. Again, we're kind of a little bit extended towards the downside on some of these stocks that have been doing very well. But a lot is going to depend, as Jared said, on the overall market. So we're getting a little bit of a bounce now. If you look at the SPY, if you look at Apple, you look at X, they're all doing this exact same pattern here. So this is why if you see a stock like MP, right? And I'm not picking on MP, just giving you an example. If you see a stock that's looking like this today, this is really not in play, guys. You do not want to be watching this on a day like today. You want to look at the SPY and look at the stuff that has volume, that's gapping up. Some of them might have their own catalyst. I know Baba does, right? Baba has their own catalyst. They're definitely in play. I don't like this one because I don't like the way it trades, but this one is also looking very good this morning. All right, guys, that is what we have. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup. They might not have anything yet because we're done pretty early today, as we got to shut it down by 9 a.m., unfortunately. But we'll continue here in our chat room. Brian and Peter might come in a little bit because I know it's very early for Brian. He might not be up ready for the pre-market session just yet. IPOs for today, ORIAU. So that is the IPO that we have this morning. Peter reporting on that. Mr. T's asking, what's going on at 9 a.m.? I have to dash out of here. My daughter has a dentist appointment that I completely forgot about. So I got to take care of that this morning. And it's just, it's madness now with with this COVID situation and everything. The next appointment I try to reschedule is weeks out. Like, before you get an appointment next week. Now it's no. Now it's like, no, you got to wait 4 or 5 weeks. I'm like, what is this? This is madness. Guys, so just quick recap. Oh, here's Jared with his early list. Oh, we got a few on here. All right. Let's get this in here. All right, let's bring in our watch list. Here we go. All right, so we are looking at Thor SPY overall. Yes, this is a good one, guys. You definitely want to look at the SPY today in the last couple of days, and always really, but the way things are trading now, you want to look at this. Fubo, NKLA, XBEV, and BABA. Great list there. Tiffany's looking at BABA, SQ, and Tesla all in play, guys. If you don't like Tesla, you can watch NEO, you can watch XBEV. So many things you can switch it for. Early watches, BTC stocks, of course. Bitcoin, guys, is in play with everything happening, and also the Qs and the some sectors there he's watching as well. So pretty good list there. Very early on, the moderators are going to continue to build their list in the chat room, guys. If you guys want to check our chat room, you can do so. Use the code premarket24, get a little bit of a discount. Try it out for a week and see what we are all about. If you want to give us a shot. For those viewers over on YouTube and TradingView, we appreciate you guys being with us every morning. Peter's watch list: Apple, BABA, XBEV. Secondary list, of course, AMD, SQ, and OCGN this morning. And Mike is looking at BABA. I knew Mike was going to look at BABA. See, when you hang around Mike and some of the moderators and even our members, you start to learn how they trade. And when you see something like, that's what Mike would do. That's what Thor was short, or that's what Peter would take here on a mountain pass, or Brian is Rising Devil, right? So it's pretty neat to see how people trade and kind of get a feel for what's going on and when you see some of these stocks. So. All right, guys, 8:57. We have to run over from YouTube and TradingView. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. We'll be back tomorrow to close out the week. It is Thursday. So we'll be back tomorrow, Friday, to close out the week. Thank you for those that joined the session yesterday from Andrew. It actually went pretty long. We have to cut it. We're going to be doing part 2 next week as a success webinar on Tuesday. So part 2 will be done next week, and then we're going to post them up on our website as well. So we'll post part 1 now for those that missed it, that want to catch up. Part 1 will be up actually later today. You can catch up on what you missed so you're ready for Tuesday if you were not able to make it last night. So take care, guys. Trade safe. Norm, anything that we missed before we hop off?
I can think of, brother.
All right, excellent. Thank you, guys, and sorry for the fire type shot today, but thank you guys for
joining. Back to normal tomorrow.
Yes, we will be. Take care, guys. Trade safe.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.